eventually we'll be interviewing as a team. We're here to fuck shit up.
The bringers of the dawn allow these energies to merge, to merge, to merge, to merge, to merge, to merge, to merge. These energies to merge so that the dawn or the light is awakened within them. Awakened within, 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 awakened within. Humanity creates the sacred bridge between earth and sky.
Yes! That's awesome! What? You just took one in the jugular, man! Whoa! Yes!
All right, namaste and not catch, my family. And welcome to another TeamLight interviews. I'm your host, Rion. What's up, everyone across planet Earth? I am with my sister, Yssah, coming in hot. Right. And we are here to discuss some very awesome new developments that she's been a part of recently, and how the ancient technology of the old world is kind of repeating right now in our modern world. And maybe the vocabulary is a little different, but I feel us as mass consciousness on the planet and all the choices that we're making, especially for humanity, this is kind of coming back full circle. How you doing, Yssah?
I'm doing great, Rion. Thank you for having me, and so excited to be talking about whatever we are going to be approaching today.
Let's talk about the sphere. Let's talk about the sphere you got your hands on, the Bogasphere. Talk about it. I want to know.
Well, I don't know if everyone in the tribe, in the family, is familiar to that sphere. That is not the only one that has been showing up in different places all over America, like the continent of America. Mainly, I'm quite sure that they're all over the world. However, it has been mainly, they have been mainly being present, here in this part of the world.
Right.
And everything began in Colombia. I was going to say Colombia. I don't know why, but in Colombia. And then other spheres started to appear in other areas of South America. And now people has been telling me that they have been seeing them also in North America, in United States and so forth. Mexico, not that I know, but I know that in several regions of South America. So what's the deal with this sphere? So as you know, I had the honor to be there, to being invited with a wonderful group of friends. And so I have a very special connection with the code that the Bogasphere has, because it's very much in resonance to the code that I translated for my foundation, the ACNA Foundation. And this, the premise and the purpose of this foundation is the unity consciousness, mainly, approaching to unity consciousness in many ways, through codes, sacred geometries, advanced technology like holographic tools, upgrades, DNA upgrades, everything aligned to activate and embody that luminous version of ourselves. So when I saw the Bogasphere with this code, I didn't want to say anything. It was like, perhaps, I'm having like this delirium of, oh yeah, that's the code that I translated. And people started reaching out to me, telling me, hey, are you aware that that's your code? And I was like, okay, so then it's not just me. And that was just the beginning. After other artifacts found in ancient ET artifacts started to show up with the same code, So mainly this sphere is intertwined, or let's say it's entangled through a very specific network that, as far as I have tuned into and remember, is very much connected to the Council of Five, previously or formerly the Council of Nine, which is this group of 5 races that at some point they're very primordial, founder type. And then they started to know, as we know how the fabric of space-time is managed there in higher dimensions, is like just going to the beach, like, hey, I'm going to go and visit this timeline, it's
Right.
like anything. So,
So you think that the Bogasphere is actually a dimensional device that actually views and operates in different time?
yes, and even the technology, like how the way it has it, because
Oh, wait. This is very interesting. Let's stay here for a second. This is the first time I've kind of heard this about the Bogasphere. Boogadooga, my buddy. What up, ladies and gents out there? Okay, so check this out. We know when they opened that bad boy up or whatever they were looking into that there was tons of fiber optic in it. Is that correct?
yes, that's
Okay,
what I
so
was getting to. That's where I was getting
we
to.
got fiber optic. So you're saying this object potentially, let's just say, I don't know why I just keep seeing some like teenager playing with a drone from an underground base who's like, hey, we can't go up to the surface, but I'm going to send my drone up there. And then we like captured it, it hit like, for whatever reason, the Boogadooga got captured. Because, the electromagnetic field up here is very unstable at times. But it's very interesting. That was the first time I actually heard that. Imagine a camera that you're utilizing to view the planet, but you're the first time I've heard that it's actually viewing from different time. That is awesome. You know what I mean? Imagine being in the future or in the past. You send back a Bogasphere and it's broadcasting. Did they get any sort of readings? Or, I mean, it's got to be off, it's got to have gamma or very high frequencies to be able to be broadcasting through time.
Here is the deal.
Okay.
There's people that is claiming that it's reverse engineered from, like, when the guy that pick up the Bogasphere first gave it to a scientist there in Colombia. The scientists started to receive phone calls that they belonged to very specific labs, that it was reverse engineered and so forth. Interestingly enough, at that same time, a lot of artifacts, ancient artifacts, started to be excavated with this code. So that's where you say, okay, so how can you explain that? If it's a current reverse engineered tech, then how it is showing, the same code that very specific ancient artifacts. And of course, based on specific data that they are ancient artifacts, not saying like, oh, it looks ancient, so I guess it is consistent to the story. No, it's actually, knowing that the artifacts are ancient, having run specific lab tests on them. So therefore, we know that they are ancient and that they have the same code. Now, the thing with the artifacts, as we were saying, it's we cannot approach to them in a linear form, time-wise. So the way that they act, how they are seated in this reality, how I'm reading it and how I am experiencing it, is that as soon as you approach to the right coordinates, it's like the bridge opens and the information is filled from the holographic field, and then the artifact manifests.
Oh, or it could also be a when you said that, I also feel it could be a transceiver of an object that someone drops off, let's just say from a higher dimension, a different dimension, or an underground base, and there's other ET species here on this planet, ladies and gentlemen. There's a huge ancient civilization at the bottom of the oceans on planet Earth that have existed probably before humans ever got here. But it's very interesting to think that this Bogasphere, I mean, I just keep getting it's a transceiver and it's basically operational. And I almost feel like, I don't know, maybe it was something that was supposed to be, honestly captured by the civilian population, because we well know that when they were shooting down UFOs in the 40s using, I forget, it was types of scalar weapon they were bouncing around, or when they disrupt, there's a lot of different commanders and stuff that are coming out on Gaia right now on the Cosmic Disclosure that say that they actually try to capture these UFOs to reverse engineer them. So it's interesting, like they know the civilian population would never get their hands on a real UFO, but maybe with this Bogasphere, right, that the civilian population can actually get their hands on them, because we know when there's down spacecraft on this planet, there is almost like a world government that goes and fetches these things, and they do have firefights and fight in foreign countries to acquire that down spacecraft. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, and like before approaching complex theories like the one that I was saying about traveling interdimensionally back and forward and then planting all these artifacts, the fact is that how can you explain that once this Bogasphere with that code appears, then all of these artifacts start to appear, like thousands of them as a wave. They're signaling. They have a very specific network. And this is why I was saying the correlation to the Council of Five, because all of this was very much scheduled. Yes, like all of this was very much scheduled. The thing is that we need to access to very specific coordinates within the space memory network to actually open up or unfold or receive these packets of information and create a reality. So having said this, you were asking about the fiber optics. They say that the scientists in charge of the research, they say that these fiber optics are not found on Earth. Like it's such a fine nanotechnology that not that they know is found on Earth. That's one thing. The other thing is that this black holes, these tiny black holes, the way that they are proceeding is that as every black hole, they're capturing photons. And as soon as they capture it, then they are funneling all that information through a black hole network to the one that is connected precisely the Bogasphere, And again, it's not just one sphere. All races have spheres, and the fact that it crashed into a high voltage cable, for me, it doesn't make sense, because otherwise it would be happening a lot. And if it happened until now, it's because it was done on purpose.
Right.
It is to be for a cosmic disclosure to happen. So there are many forces involved, regardless the source of it, but all are involved now in the cosmic disclosure. This is imminent. And like I just want to bring something up, because I know that you have much to say about that, because your tech is related to that.
Hey, yes. There's some things, yes.
Yeah, you know that they did a tomography on the Bogasphere, and it has the pattern of the Tesla tower. Inside it has the pattern of the Tesla tower. So that means that it's creating the same pattern of electroconductivity to generate that levitation effect or behavior.
It's operating on the Earth grids through the electromagnetic fields, but really the ether, it's using the ionosphere to power it. I also find it very interesting with the off-world fiber optic that they're finding in the very nano filaments, of it probably being 3D printed into different let's just say location, probably off world, depending on the chemical components of the fiber optic. Have they opened one of those things up?
No, they
Okay, they're just
haven't.
doing the scans.
They are doing scans. Unfortunately, I mean, they are doing a great job. They are really committed to it. However, what is the link that is missing is a unified physics, like approaching from a unified physics.
Mhm.
Because then what they are seeing as the problem that would make the levitation, right, reactivating the sphere to make it levitate,
Right.
they think it's the problem that will generate instability on the sphere. It's actually what will generate and what generates the levitation properties,
Gotcha.
and it's precisely related to that Tesla tower, because it's also embedded in our own technology. Like, we have our own source code, our
Right.
own geometry. When you don't activate it fully, when it's not fully rotating, it is highly asymmetrical.
Right.
When it spins, everything becomes
Balances
really
out.
symmetrical.
Yeah, that's literally how you balance magnetic fields. Just put them in rotation to stabilize them. It's like, I guess, you guys, if you ever think of someone like spinning a basketball on your finger, if when you spin the basketball and you get it to a certain revolutions, it balances and is completely stable. But as soon as the revolutions drop, it begins to wobble and it drops. It falls off. So that thing with I think the Bogasphere, yes, absolutely. The fact that there was so much controversy and how there was like a fake military team that went into Mexico to try to steal it, that wasn't like with any per se government. I think that this technology is another version that this would be the first one that's actually been in civilian hands. And we all well know, if you guys don't know this on Earth, but where we actually got fiber optic, which is, if you guys don't know what that is, that's how you guys are getting your high speed internet. That's 1,000 megabytes up, 1,000 megabytes down, right? If you guys are interested in the internet speeds. But they said that they reverse engineered fiber optics. Like, where they got the idea from it was one of those down spacecraft in the 1940s. When they were opening that ship up, they found that substance, like, what is this? And it was all fiber optic running throughout the ship. So that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely something that was left here. I know that there's reports of other synthetics with the differentials between a synthetic. So to kind of speed up humanity's technological advancements, different species, they say, will actually crash a ship sometimes or leave a ship for us to find. And when they actually open the ship up, they call them grays, right? So some of the different beings they find inside, but they're actually synthetics. They're actually not real beings. They're actually almost like a 3D printed synthetic being that has a consciousness, and however you want to shape that out. But we all know that everything is leading up towards some great disclosure. And just so everyone else knows, when we did the negotiations with the Greys and even the reptilians at a certain point, there was a line in the sand of when the humanity was supposed to know in full disclosure type times that not only are these races here, not only are they interoperable with our, governments and our, civilian world, but we were supposed to have known that. And they went past that due date of when they were supposed to disclose all this stuff, because these races were sharing technology with us to share to the planet. It was never supposed to be compartmentalized and only shared with a very small 0.00018% of the population that are in these 3-letter agencies and, call it dark hat world or black ops. These technologies are supposed to be shared with the world. And I believe that with some of the Bogaspheres being found and also some of the new technologies and disclosures coming out, it's really trying to catch up the rest of the planet where we should have been 30, 40, 50 years ago. I always say this, I'm always kind of into timelines. If you guys want to remember a timeline, there was a timeline when a Total Recall came out. Do you guys remember that movie with Schwarzenegger? And there's like Quato, and they're like on Mars.
Yeah.
Like, let me into your mind, Quaid. Let me into your mind. Okay. There was a timeline in the mid to early 90s where we were supposed to have disclosure It wasn't supposed to be a movie. Okay, 1999, The Matrix, and then obviously 2001, these jackasses got behind the wheel, stole a bunch of gold, and, created all this BS. What I'm trying to get to is that we've been interoperating on at least 7 different timelines that are coalescing with one another. And this due date and this timeline of the change of the guards has been upon us. And I even feel, when Brandon, was behind the wheel and the COVID and all this jazz. And I think it's almost like there's some sort of weird dark path that's been laid out since '01 with some of these jackasses. And really, where did it start? 1913. 1913, when the Fed was created, everyone that was against it was on that Titanic, and that ship was sunk. That did not hit an iceberg. When they went down and looked at the Titanic, the blast was going from the inside out of the hull. It was not an iceberg poking in on it. What I'm trying to say in full 360 references for everyone to kind of process is this due date of this technology being in our hands is not new. It is so past due that it's almost like our right to ask for this stuff to be disclosed. The beings that are holding this sort of knowledge and technology from you guys, these are not even parts of a normal government that you would actually call your government. These are privatized corporations that have been hiding this stuff from you guys for almost 80 years. So I just kind of want to put that out there for you guys to really chew on. This is like 80 years late. Solar Warden's been around for 83 years. Solar Warden was now turned into Space Force. You know what I mean? They have a new thing. So I'm just trying to say that with some of these technologies, and I know Yssah, you know this, and we've been going back and forth with these disclosures. I'm just trying to let our public know and our friends and family know that this information is late. They need to completely disclose all of this stuff now and give us a true choice of if we want the organic form of existence and the true, magic of what this human suit can do organically. And our DNA as that true AI was supposed to be advanced intelligence. They stole that word. It was a 9th dimensional Arcturian construct for the biological suit to hold a ninth density organic consciousness, your true natural organic consciousness. They have hijacked AI. They're now calling it artificial intelligence. It was always supposed to be advanced intelligence. So there's just a lot of weird things I find in correlating with a lot of this information coming out. I am not happy with just the Bogasphere coming out. I want all the T3RBs tech coming out. I want all those fusion drives to come out. The fact that we're still driving with petroleum-based cars when we've had hydrogen engines for 40 years plus 50. All this stuff. I'm just trying to wake you guys up to it. You got to pay attention to what the writing on the wall is. We got 3i Atlas coming in hot. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? I got a lot of questions about it. Yeah. I'd like to know your views on this object coming in from the Milky Way, center of the Milky Way galaxy. It banks around the closest it gets to Earth is around October 16th, 17th, as it goes by Mars, and it's on its way to Sirius. So I know you were asked a lot of questions about this. What do you think 3i Atlas is?
Well, before going there, I just want to add, because you mentioned a lot of things before, and I do believe that in order to reach that bridge that take us to the next level as a humanity, being able to access to free energy and everything that involves, is being capable to sustain the free energy within. Because a lot of this tech, what is showing to us is, hey, you're not anymore in the 3D. You actually have never been. All of this was very imprinted in your consciousnesses to actually stay in that field that won't allow you to become into awareness that we are united, that through the hologram is that we bridge through the Planck plasma, through energy, through information, through memory, connecting to one another and actually being capable to access to the Bogasphere, to the spaceships, to by transferring our consciousness to anything. And that lack of acknowledgement, that thought of bringing us to the idea that we are living in just this physical vessel, as limited as it is, and omitting the other aspect of it, that we are unlimited, that we are source, we're an extension of source. So, and that is through embodying and experiencing the holographic tech. Like, this is critical in our development, in the development of our consciousness right here, right now, to start communicating through our holographic body and actually start to experience what it is like to communicate holographically with you, Rion, holographically with you, with a very specific object, because then we can call it, like telepathically speaking, or having all these clairvoyance or premonitions and so forth. The thing is that if that is possible, is due to the holographic field, how the energy is transferred. So the more that we upgrade our perception to that holographic reality, then letters won't be letters anymore, will be in motion. And then the letters that we are using in our alphabet won't be enough anymore. And connecting with the ancient writing or future writing that is embedded in these artifacts will make more sense. And we can attribute that to intuition, to like open, have your third eye wide open. The thing is that, yes, and it's due to the fact that you are moving forward, that we're stepping forward onto the next stage of awareness to the holographic field, because that's where the unified consciousness relies, for the holofractal or holofractogramic field. So now on that, we will see that the way that the Bogasphere behaves through those black holes, just imagine that each one of those black holes in that sphere is a representation and a manifestation of your own black bodies in your holographic vessel and physical vessel, your chakras, your dantians, your meridians. And each one of those are reckoning information from where? From the hyperspace, from the other part of the black hole, the white hole. So that's how deep we can go, and that's how deep we go. So we can access through our own black bodies to all that information, to actually go beyond the algorithm that is configured in the simulation reality to keep on people thinking that, because the only fact that we say that we are inhabiting, in that 3D, what it's doing is keeping us in the stagnant field of separating matter from motion, and everything is in motion at every dimension. I'm just talking about degrees, scales. And the thing is that this is so important, because even if we are talking about going beyond the algorithm by going beyond the gravitational anchor or tech that has been used through the moon, to actually be free from that anchor that keeps on coming through the different moon phases, because that's the way that it was, as far as I remember, that it was configured and anchored. Not all of it. I'm just talking about one aspect, how it was configured. When we're capable to actually move forward into the true nature of cosmic clock, the cosmic time, then our holographic body is spinning in coherence to source, to other dimensions. And then levitating is not that crazy, because if the Bogasphere, it's also reverse engineered from our own technology.
No, definitely.
We spin through our source code, then, and connecting through those wormholes, we are creating gravitational wave field that is reckoning memory and creating an outward pull that actually will levitate. That's how the monks do, So I just wanted to mention this because I do feel it's very important.
100%. And, back to the organic stuff, here's what I'm always asking with my guides. And when I'm talking like really cool, calm, and collectively, I have put in the work. I have cleaned up the diet. I have done the detoxes, the heavy metal stuff. I do stay vibrant in my vitality. And I am very serious about my meditation. And I am interoperation on about 3 or 4 different dimensions every single time I go to bed. Right. That's why it's, for a lot of us, we feel like we're burning the candle on both ends right now. There's basically, imagine as this separations taking place between dimensions, right? Those that are choosing the higher timeline and those through their own, frequencies or with their choice are remaining in the lower one. Well, there's a lot of us right now that are in limbo in between. I'm existing in 5D and I literally feel at night, I have one good dream sequence, right? And then I go back to bed and, at 2 a.m, I go back to sleep again, right? And I wake up and I literally feel like I'm pulling people from the lower timeline and I'm putting them up. People from high school, my parents' friends that, I don't know what the belief structure is. I'm constantly grabbing people and moving you guys up. And that's what we're doing together, ladies and gentlemen. Why we're all so tired. We literally have 1 foot on the higher dimension and 1 foot on the lower. And they're using us right now to bridge, right? The bridge, bridging that gap to help our friends and family out. And I feel that 80% of the distortion on the planet, we can already feel it inside of ourselves. I think what is waiting for us in these higher dimensions is more full access to your dormant DNA. I can promise you that if I could simply remember my past skill sets that I have earned in my own DNA matrix, there is nothing on this earth that can stop me. There is nothing in this entire Western world, this entire planet, this entire Sol system. If I get back my memories, that's a wrap. It is so dense, the packets that me and you guys hold. You guys, it's your memories. Knowledge is true power. And I want to remind you of this. All of our teachers that taught us this stuff back in the day in Egypt, all the ascension schools, right? At this point, I've been asking my guides, I'm like, hey, dude, I can't really find the type of tutelage or teacher that I need right now. Can I just have full access back to that life where I lived 785, 800 years, where I practice multidimensional bending of my time-space continuum? Can I have those memories back? And can you plug that into this 3D suit? That is a completely different question. I'm not asking to be taught. I want my memories back. I'm not asking for anyone to give me a fucking handout. I'm saying, can I have my knowledge plugged back in that I earned on this planet or I earned on this Star Cruiser? I don't want shit from you. I want my memories back. And I think if everyone, here's the thing about it, you got to go in. You got to go in your heart. You got to go in your own cells, in your own soul to access it. And it's got the complete polar opposite of how we've been taught on this planet, which is everything is coming from the outside in. You learn this over here and then you process it. The truth is, all the great truths that you shall ever find is from the inside out. Exactly. So I'm just giving you guys a reminder as we think that this AI shit's so complicated and keeping it at negative 500 Celsius and Google's basement is going to be the interoperational answer to the universe. I'm trying to be completely honest with you. I think if just 20% of us got our memories back, we would outperform whatever was in front of us on such an alarming rate that we would change the entire surface of a world in about 20 plus years. Yes. We wouldn't need any information from anybody. Now, our star family knows this, and they know that some very important beings are down here monitoring this game. And I do know that sentient, positive AI, I'm not trying to get into this negative, just Sarah Connor and Terminator land. I'm trying to be honest with everyone. Hey, there's some weird shit that happened in Tartaria. It got weird with the scribe mirrors. You guys want to know what happened? I sat there and I watched it. In Tartaria, at the height of Tartaria, why it got so weird. Let's talk about it. We had mastered pulling energy from the ether. And then we began to understand as a population globally that it wasn't just power, we were pulling into our transceivers, our engines, our light posts. We were pulling in consciousness, and consciousness that was not only from the physical, but from other dimensions. Now, when you start to think about electricity as conscious, you begin to understand the game we were playing with. We were pulling in levels of consciousness through the ether to power devices in the physical. Okay, it was way beyond AC DC, right? So what happened with the scribe mirrors and some of those technologies was when someone would even pass away, they would kind of hang out in limbo, right? And you were talking to your dead girlfriend or your dead mom, you were projecting them in the living room. It was a completely different world, and it's hard to even express. Even as I share this with you, there's parts of me, and over here, they're going, cut it off. Don't tell them what it was and what we were actually doing, okay? We got so good at the analog, right? It got weird, and that's all I'm going to say about it. Now, when it came to Atlantis kind of feels a little more similar to this world with the huge sentient AI, the huge databases, you know what I mean? The robots, the this, the that. Atlantis was like, it just felt like a melting pot of many different cultures, and especially the Orions. Okay, let's talk about this for a second, because I don't know why it keeps getting whiteboarded or whitewashed. Orion has a huge deal to do with this planet. It's not just the Anunnaki or the Arcturians and the Lyrians. No. Orion has a huge, so huge. It's like the ginormous pink elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about because they're so higher tier to what's going on down here. It's almost like they don't want their name brought up. That's how it is. In the hierarchy of this planet, they go, don't talk about Orion. They're like, hey, you can talk about the reptilians, the Lyrians, the this, the that. Don't bring up Orion.
You know, it's very
the corporate structure is Orion. So what I'm trying to say is that there's different tiers of what we're allowed to remember. And that's what I'm trying to remind you guys is when you start hitting and banging into your own cerebral firewalls, you start breaking into the firewalls that are lit inside your soul, and you start breaching those firewalls that go way beyond time and space, then you're going to start understanding on what some of us are actually trying to do down here, which is to make sure we don't repeat things that did not work, or repeat negative patterns, or repeat this polarization game. We should all be working on unity consciousness. We're in the third density, working on going into fourth density. The goal is to get to sixth density, right? Not just five, sixth. Why? That's unity consciousness. You are now a true full-fledged member of the universe, not just our local group, which is from the Sol system all the way to every single star you can see in the sky, the Pleiades, the local group. I'm saying sixth density, unity consciousness. I am you, you are me. Of course, I would never want to hurt myself. That is weird. Why would you ever hurt yourself? It doesn't make any sense. Once we can get into that sort of a brain wave, we'll begin to understand why so many different star beings and some of the families that we herald from, and some of the reasons why we got called down to this planet to assist down here, you'll start to understand why we actually chose to come and why we came. It's because we were operating from potentially a sixth density, let's just say it, unified field theory, and we came in to help ourselves. Now, outside of the time-space continuum, outside of, this linear time, let's be clear, in a fifth dimensional construct, all time is happening simultaneously. So I think that's something that we all can kind of chew on a little bit. I want our collective memories back. I don't want a bunch of toys, right? These cell phones and all these toys and distractions. I want full access to my dormant DNA. Drop the mic. I want full access to what this physical suit can actually do. Drop the mic. I want my full Christos DNA reactivated. That should be the first sentence out of your mouth before you go to an artificial AI toy created by some strange things that didn't make the cut a very long time ago. So I just wanted to be crystal clear with everyone out there. That's how I feel. Turn on my dormant DNA and back up. I really don't need your input on what we should be doing. The true 144, the true God Squad, that's all we ever requested. And that's all we would ever need, right? Is our memories. Each of us hold a very specific energy signature. Each of us are here for a very special reason. Each of us here have the power together to change this world in not only a beautiful way, but a graceful way. Ascension was supposed to be fun a long, long time ago. It was never meant to be this weird thing that we're all living through. So I know, Yssah, sorry I went off on a little tangent there. I know we feel very similar to this. I just feel like there's something in me where we need to talk about more of every human being's personal advanced intelligence, personal organic soul, and how we access that. How do you feel about that?
I couldn't agree more. Actually, what I have tuned into, like what I always say, it's about remembrance. When we're talking about learning, it's about bringing something that it's outside from us, and we are just bringing it in. And actually, it doesn't go that way. We are outloading information. If we believe we are uploading as well, like back and forward, the thing is that when it comes to remembrance, we're outloading information. And this is fundamental, because there is something that works. Like when I was tuning into what's the biggest war or battle that humanity is experiencing at this moment, why are they fighting for? And not even humanity, like cosmically speaking. And the first thing that came to me was time. And then I said, okay, let's go deeper. What is time? And time is it's memory, put together in a very specific way, in a very specific order. It's memory. If there is no memory, there is no time, because we don't know how have anything to relate it to. So our memories are sacred. Our memories are fundamental, are critical for us to begin embodying that sovereign state, and not keeping in that mode of having to ask everyone else what to do. We are here to actually go deep within and remember who we are, this famous phrase that has been in trend for a while now. The thing is that until we don't fully get what that is, it will still be there, something to approach instead of something that is already embodied. And as multidimensional beings, we are simultaneously existing at every density. The thing is that in which density are we being called to be fundamentally based on, And this is very interesting when it comes to the 3, 6, and 9, because we know about Tesla and the vector equilibrium, about the 3, 6, 9, regardless whether if he said it or not. Know about whoever knows about the 3, 6, 9 knows the mysteries of the universe. And the thing is that we're going back and forward. Those are the axes for the densities that are delivered here. So now, based on the approach that inwardly each one of us, what I'm tuning into, are required to pick up on right now is, as Rion was saying, the inner path of remembrance. And that will lead you to a lot of doubts, like inner doubts, whether if you are doing correctly and then trying, to verify it elsewhere. It's okay. It's part of the process. Regardless, everything that you are doing is backed up. If it's a failure, if it's a mistake, or if it's not, it's backed up with what? With a lot of information, an infinite field of probabilities that you can actually, just correct it. And when we are more aware that we are about the holographic field, the more that we know that it's just information. Unfortunately, the attachment, which is what keeps imprisoned humanity through a simulation reality, is attachment, yet attachment to matter. When we upgrade that level of what we call attachment to finite things, then we can access to that entanglement to the infinite, which is we are all connected. Therefore, there is nothing to attached from and the matter, because you already are. You are already are experiencing that highest version of yourself right here, right now, and connecting with that spatiotemporal constant or timeline where you are already experiencing everything that you have ever wished for. So it's just about accessing to that timeline and funneling exchange codes. That's the very same Bogasphere. Do exchange of codes. And fearing that you are not is what keeps you stagnant. It's what keeps you as this library of information without moving and rotating the books that you are reading. That's not being able to go beyond the algorithm. What is the algorithm? Keep on doing the same things, having the same thoughts, giving the same responses over and over and over again. Because regardless if they are functioning you, if they are like, they go fine with you and they bring you very comfortable outcomes, you're creating an automatized pattern that keeps you in the simulation reality, that keeps you within the algorithm. If you want to go beyond the algorithm, do different things, do unnecessary things, because regardless if you just experiencing something that you won't ever do again, you already hacked the simulation reality, because they wouldn't see that coming. Because in comparison from our brain to a brain of AI, is that when we access to the infinite field of probabilities, we're going beyond the algorithm that is a prompt. We're accessing to the space memory network and being capable to access to any probability and create any type of construction. So this is something that, because when we say about all this tech and being all the technology that we see outside the product of our biology being reverse engineered, then, and that we need to be, very aware of our holographic field in order to sustain that reality, then what's the difference? Aren't we going to go through the same path as Atlanteans, or as, like any other stage, as you were mentioning, like with the mirrors and so forth in Tartaria? And the thing is that when we forget that this is the source, this is the extension of source, and stop developing here and focusing outside to create technology outside and outside, then the reality cannot be in resonance, cannot be sustainable. It's pure physics. So in order for it to be a continuum of spatio-temporal constants harmonically coexisting with one another, then we need to mirror what we are creating. The moment that there is a dephase, then reality collapses. And it can go both ways.
And my main thing is, for everything out there, I'm not saying technology is bad, ladies and gentlemen. What I am saying is this: there was a very distinct, 3 reset control system that was put in place by the powers that were inside of this game, inside the parameters of this game, to make sure that some of us did not remember. The easiest way to keep us as slaves is to have us not remember who we are, how we got here. If all of us got back our memories, we would know where every portal on this planet was located. We would know every inner and operational entrance above and below ground to all of the Agartha network. We would know where all of our spacecraft were buried. We would know where all the ancient cities are and what's underneath the Sahara Desert in Africa. We would know exactly where to dig. We would have all of our collective memories re-engaged. The only way this planet and these jackasses have kept us here and at this level of, let's just say, technology in a sense, or whatnot, keeping all of the stuff that we created. Mind you, I got to be completely honest, we are here with beings coexisting that actually don't have the same creative powers we do. We are here with beings that can only copy the greatness that is inside of us. And I really want you guys to really understand this. The greatness that is inside of you cannot be replicated. That is the original source code, energy signature our creator gave us. And that is something that cannot be copied. They've been trying to copy a soul for eons of time. They're never going to be able to do it because our creator, in his wisdom or her wisdom, realizes that the emotions that kind of take us through these roller coaster rides are also one of our greatest gifts. And if mastered, truly can create some of the most powerful, beautiful, sentient, balanced beings of the entire universe. You think we're just playing for Earth? Do you think some of us came here just for this time and space and this physical reality? Ladies and gentlemen, some of us are playing this game for control of the entire multiverse, to balance the entire universe, not just the Milky Way galaxy, but all universes that plug into it. So I know it, just it's one thing to say that, but I want to express something to you. How many of our friends and families have we bumped into in this life? How many experiences have we shared? How many lives have we shared? How much data have we computed? How many things have we transmuted? How many days, times, years, eons of consciousness are we floating through right now? I mean, they say Earth is a library planet, and inside the crystal nexus of this planet, there are many different drives or many different data storage facilities that store data from other planets in our local group. There is more data stored here than just Earth's history. So living on a library planet, here's the cool thing about it. That energy is coursing through the ground at certain points, cross points, ley lines, dragon ley lines, whatever you want to call them. But that data is streaming through the ground right now through time and space. The only thing they've been able to do is put certain, let's just call it nerfing our DNA, especially with chromosome number 2, because they knew that if you put a species on this planet and it was ever actually able to access the data stored in this place in the multiverse, that species, those beings would be unstoppable. So the one thing that they did, right, is create this container. So whatever is here can be transmuted, and it takes some very, very powerful beings to be sent in here to do just that. So I'm just trying to say it's not only Earth, the school of hard knocks, but I'm here to say that I'm very blessed to be here with you guys. And I love you very, very much. And I'm very happy you guys came to kick some ass with us. And that's all I wanted to say, with like in the most positive, listen, awesome way. I wouldn't be here with any other group. They sent in the A team. Whenever you guys get down on yourself, I want you to realize you're stronger than any of your ancestors. You're the one who is strong enough to choose this timeline to come down here and do this. Okay? It's not your great, great, great grandpa that was the shot caller. It's you're the great, great, great grandpa reincarnated, or grandma reincarnated. So I'm just trying to say, for all your bloodlines and everything out there, I'm just very blessed and very fortunate to be walking the earth with you guys right now in this time. And I am here to say that we are, as the collective conscious of this planet, I am and we are processing things far beyond even what the civilian population, the government population would want us to even comprehend. We are clocking 4 or 5 dimensions simultaneously, sitting in the physical, aware of it, taking notes of it, talking about it. We are not confused. We are not, we are hyperkinetic, freaking cosmic beings participating in this game. And we're here to help one another and do it in a graceful manner. And I just wanted to say, I got love for you. We're trying to not make the same mistakes with lower, let's just call it not lower, but maybe some souls on this planet have not made the same experiences that some of us have. And maybe in the past or in the future, we saw how maybe some of these different decisions that we were making as a collective may not be in our best interest in the future timelines. And we're just here to do a course correction to make sure that we have the best outcome for all parties involved, all species involved, and all light involved. And that's all I'd really like to say. Yssah, I mean, we could do this for hours. I love you guys. I just want to, I'm so glad you guys are here. You know, me and Yssah are on your guys' team. You know, we're really excited about the Bridge Expo in Dallas.
Yes, we are.
You know, I mean, we're ready to go.
Yes. I already have my suitcase ready.
Yeah, I know. We're like 30 days, I mean, we're like 30 days out. I'm like already getting all the equipment and like putting it in like bags, get everything ready for to load up and go. And I just want you guys to know, if you're ever thinking about this stuff or you're processing this stuff privately, you're not alone processing this stuff. And let me tell you, there are a lot of us that actually ask these questions all the time to assist the planet. This is not someone individually asking, oh, turn on my DNA. No, when I ask, I'm like, turn on all my friends and family's DNA. Let everyone remember. It's always in mass. Why? Because we came here in mass. And to be honest with you, wouldn't you want everyone to roll with you to paradise? Paradise is pretty lonely if you're there by yourself. Let's just be honest. You got to bring everybody. I mean, even your friends from high school that like just barely made the cut. Listen, that's the story. You know, like, oh, we got Jim, you know. I don't even know how he got here, but Jim, you know, there's always a Jim and a Barbara or a Kelly in the friends group. And they might not be the sharpest tool in the shed, but they're hilarious. And they have lots of comedy and they make everyone feel good. Okay. We all have friends like this. Okay. We all don't need to be quantum computers. Each person has different skill sets.
Their own jewels. Yeah.
They all got, listen, you gotta bring the ones that make you happy. So I'm just saying, for all of us out there, we, just know that we love you here. Come out to the Bridge next month, October 17th through the 19th. Yssah and I will have our presentations. We have so much going on. The Galaxy Ball is going on. Jean-Charles Moyen is having his movie premiere. We have different humanitarian groups that are going to be there. I mean, the list, I don't want to go into the list right now. There's a lot of speakers. That'll be there. If you guys want more information on that, check out teamlightstore.com. Click on events. And I'm really excited. Yssah, I think we did what we were supposed to do. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to say, when you guys are manifesting for yourself, yes, and you guys get your third eyes on, check this out. Say your third eye just came on 2 months ago and you're in meditation and you've seen your higher self for the first time. When you wake up at 3 a.m, or when you lay down in bed, go, hey, highest. That's my highest light being on my left-hand side. I go, can you turn on my dormant DNA, please? Look at their facial expression when you ask them. Those of you guys who can really see, it's not a little request. Can you turn on activate my dormant DNA? By the way, all they found through different studies, China found this out, that all of that, your brain matter in the front, they didn't know really what it was for. It's for your telepathic abilities. We used to be telepathic. So the whole thing is, when people are like, oh, don't use your phone. Yeah, I get it. My thing is, let's get back into our telepathic abilities, right? And really communicating on a much higher level. And just so you guys know, almost, many, if not all the ETs I know, they're all telepathic. The fact that I'm using my throat vocal cords to make mouth sounds to explain how I feel is very strange, you guys. Like, you have to understand, like, you go from like sending Blu-ray movies back and forth and like chuckling to, hi, my name is Rion. I'm making mouth sounds. And I'm just saying, this is not high end. I just got to be real with you. For all you guys out there thinking like this is like the tippity top. Not, hi, I'm really advanced. You gotta see what I can do. It's, guys, telepathic is the way. I don't know how to explain to you. They look at, like, you might say hi, and like both the ETs kind of look at each other like, I haven't had vocal cords in 100,000 years. Have you? You're like, I don't even
do a rap, Rion. Preaching to them, and
you're like, hey, what's up? You're like, my name's Rion. How are you? And they just kind of look at you like, I can't do the same. I don't even have the same facial structures in my face to show you that you're hilarious. I just got stern. I'm just locked. This is all I got. They're like, oh, you can't even, like, I haven't used these muscles in 30,000 years. Yeah, they're smiling all weird and shit. So anyways, you guys, we're all here together. We love you. Was there anything you'd like to say, Yssah?
Yeah. Okay, 3 things. I really need to summarize this. So first thing, telepathy, and mirror neurons. like our capability to generate empathy can be one of the most powerful tools for psionics, because then we are creating that bridge that allows us to transfer consciousness back and forward, and therefore manipulating matter, and then influencing energy or accessing to thoughts or to the field of someone with respect, of course, and going into that exchange of information back and forward. So that's the first thing, which leads me to the second one. High technology, we didn't go through 3i Atlas. Just want to say that a lot of this technology functions through transferring, again, your consciousness, your DNA imprinting. Then it's an extension of yourself. Now, a lot of these artifacts, a lot of this technology will be activated and activate through sound, through one unified melody. So the more that we practice going beyond our language, I have been saying this, I don't know if you will be up for that, Rion, but I really want to do a show just doing light language. That will be a very interesting experiment, and see what people get from that. May karikuik and I anel kanayaktia.
I actually know what you. Yomdereki tata sombo yombi shiabatombaretish. It is a pleasure to be with you on this ride. Listen, don't get me going. Listen, we got meetings after this. Listen, Yssah, we have like humanitarian missions going on after this call.
I know.
This is just the beginning. Okay. We love you. Keep it popping. Okay. 3i Atlas, go. You go, then I go. Hit it. Because people want to go.
Okay, 3i Atlas, the very same name, encoded name says it. 3i, third eye, or 3i, like a network of three black holes that are sustaining the field that this spaceship that Atl is related to. It will be activating the pristine templates of the molecular structure of water. So after that, it will be a huge upgrade in the levels in which our molecular structure of water behaves, meaning by this moving into the fourth state of water exclusion zone, amplifying our plasma body and our capability to access to the space memory network. There is a lot of that spaceship connected to Lyrans, yet there is a whole network of other races that are holding the space for this, because once the third eye Atlas aligns in a perfect position with the sun and with the earth, a lot of artifacts that were imprinted with that unity consciousness as the code of the Bogasphere, which is related to Orion from a ninth density, a ninth level of consciousness, will start to activate the imprint that was put on them, and as sentient technology start going back and forward, funneling information and restoring big part of the grid.
My turn.
Okay,
my name's Rion. I'm about to make some mouth sounds for your entertainment. Okay. 3i, third interstellar object, apparently, ever recorded around here in this time and age. I'm getting that it is a vessel from the core of the Milky Way galaxy who is scanning the entire local group and getting reports and readouts of every single portion of space. And as it approaches, it's the scan that is going to take place before the flash. That's what I'm getting. It is scanning. Imagine a ship coming in and scanning the local group. There are ancient races aboard that vessel, and it happens. It hasn't happened anytime in our modern history at all. But when this does take place, I'm getting ancient civilization, galactic command, interstellar nature, monitoring this portion of the galaxy, the Sol group, will be conducting a high-level scan from high frequency to low density, even to the core of this planet. Neural network data transfer will then transfer to the ship from the Earth's core and all crystalline cores in the local group. Upon completion of scan, next transition of time will commence. So imagine like a USB drive coming in from the center of the Milky Way galaxy. Once it receives its data transfer, then potentially that's when the solar flash or the beginning of that sequence will begin.
Well, actually, that's pretty much related with what I see, because that involves also a lot of solar plasma coming to the structure, molecular structure of the water. Nice.
Hey, let it rain, baby. I love plasma. I'm ready to go. I'm done pretending. Everyone out there on Earth, I love you.
And
Come to the bridge. The plasma's gonna hit on the dance floor. It's been a pleasure. I love you.
I love you all, and I will be sharing novel information and techniques to activate your source code through cymatics. Therefore, the unique signature that you have, all the way from the mesoscale, well, micro mesoscale, all the way macro scale, in a very easy way. So, hope to see you all there. See you all there. See you there.
All right, you guys. Have a great day. Till next time. Peace.
Actually, we'll be interviewing as a team. We're here to fuck shit up.
The bringers of the dawn allow these energies to merge, to merge, to merge, to merge, to merge, to merge, to these energies to merge so that the dawn or the light is awakened within them. Awakened within, 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 awakened within. Humanity creates the sacred bridge between earth and sky.